it come from?
Who's Biggie?
All the way from Kentucky.
Who's that?
It's the light.
Where did it come from?
It come from Kentucky.
Oh, wow.
Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
On 8th Street.
On 8th Street. Wow.
Uh-huh. And then it traveled to California. It was shipped to California in a cardboard box.
Okay.
I don't know how it was wrapped. Henry wrapped it. Then it came to California. To Menlo Park. It stayed there. I don't know how long, and then it come to California.
Wow.
We shipped it, but it was by a mover. Shipped to California.
So it's taken quite a journey to get here.
And then it's been to Washington State from here by mover. Washington State, and then it come back to California.
Who was the original owner of the lamp?
She's gone on to glory.
I see. Okay. I know we heard a lot about her today, right? With first jobs, right? With the laundry and things.
Going down the ladder, down the ladder.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was older than you.
No, the lamp is.
Yeah, the lamp is.
So you know.
No, she's not older than
The
you.
lamp is older than me.
The lamp is older than
Lamp.
yeah.
It is.
So you talked a little bit about the lamp and it's coming from. So we can start there. Maybe you could state your name and where are you from originally? So your name and where you're from.
I'm from where the lamp was originally in Mississippi. That's where I was originally. I was in Charleston. That's where I was born at. And I was told I was born. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, somebody had to let you know that.
Yeah, my dad said I was born in Charleston. My birth certificate says that's where I was born. Because they will not give you a birth certificate if you don't have a birthplace. You was born in the woods, they gonna say you was born in the woods.
Did you have any siblings, brothers and sisters?
I had 14 with me. Me 14.
Were you the oldest, the youngest, in the middle?
No, I was down there, way down there near the middle, because I was the 11th.
Oh, so you're pretty young. You're one of the younger ones.
Did I have any memories?
Favorite memories?
Yeah, I have quite a few. They are longer than you can listen to.
Tell about when you helped Oliver leave home.
Well, I helped one brother leave home. He got angry over my dad wouldn't let him ride his bicycle, a brand new bicycle, to another little town for whatever reason my dad had. So he got mad, and I told him, he said, I'm going to run away. I said, well, where you going? He said, well, I don't know. I said, well, I can tell you where you can go, so I hope him to run away. Because he went from where he was in Mississippi, and he had to take 2 trains. He had to take a train in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and take another one in Memphis, which would take him all the way into where he was going. So that's why I told him how to do it, because I had been there. We went there on a summer vacation to the oldest brother, and I told him how to get to the house. When you get to the last train station, and they call it, and you get off, so get a yellow cab. Because if you don't have money to pay them, they're going to put you out anyway. So if you don't have enough money to pay them, they tell them where you want them to take you. He told them where he wanted them to take him. And I told him how much money they was going to charge him from there, from the train station to the house where my brother and his wife lived. So he took the yellow cab, and the yellow cab took him there. And he knew he didn't have no money. He had ate it all up, buying stuff on the train. I told him, you got enough lunch to last you, but it wasn't enough to last him.
Right.
Because he kept buying food.
Yeah.
and he bought up his money. The money he had to spend on the cab and his way. And so when he got the cab, he didn't have no money.
So how did he?
He said when he got to the house where I told him, my sister-in-law was outside in the yard. That's how he know he was at the right place. He jumped out. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. And he jumped out the cab. The cab driver didn't know he didn't have no money. He noticed when he went back there and told him he didn't have him. But she gave him money for the cab.
Okay, so
The sister-in-law, she paid
that's
for
good.
it.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So would you say you guys were a close knit family?
Pardon?
So you guys were very close knit then.
I don't know about close knit. They were just bums, from one bum to bum another one.
Okay, so just a couple bums stuck together.
Stuck a bomb stuck on me. That's what they did.
Stuck on you. Okay.
Yeah, they got the sister who would have sympathy for them. Because I had sympathy for them. I had a little bank in the trunk, and I had the key in Mama's flower bale. I knew where the key was. John locked the trunk when I got rid, and it was using up my money. The little money I saved in the little bank, I was getting it out, helping getting brothers out of trouble.
That's why they call them a ball.
And they were staying in trouble. So that's why I got them out by, using up my little change I had. I was supposed to be putting money in there every time somebody give me money in this bank in the trunk, or either give it to Mama to put in there. Or Mama thought she kept it locked, but I knew where the key was, so I could go in.
So it seemed like you kept family. Not only when you were a kid, y'all had adventures, but I know later on in life you ended up living with your sisters and helping raising some of your nieces and nephews along with your own children. Can you talk a little bit about what it was like raising your kids with your family members?
Yeah, my family was living, but according to your age, you was a babysitter. They made a babysitter out of it. So when it was time for me to, if it was 9 or 10 kids, that's who I had to keep, along with the chickens and the other stuff. They always plus that in. You feed them at feeding time, and you give them water and stuff, But whatever they had, you had they schedule along with the kids.
So the chickens and the kids got fed at the same times, basically.
I didn't know if I fed them all, but I feed them all.
Mm-hmm.
And the chicken, you at night if they was out or near nighttime, but the chicken will go in their places, because they be hatching eggs or chicken. They're gonna go in the hen house in their place if you leave the gate open. So I will leave it open because I want them to go marching in when it's time to go. When the sun go down, they will go to their roof and in their house, so you can close the door on. And in the morning, if parents wasn't back, you got to pick up them eggs. You got to go where to pick up them eggs out of the net. Don't they? They would burst. So you pick up.
You feel like being raised on a farm gave you a lot of life skills later on?
Well, you had a schedule that you got in your memory. Then you was gonna have it on something else. So you kind of kept up with your schedule. If you had the schedule in the daytime, you wasn't gonna have it at night. You wasn't gonna have that evening schedule. So my parents would give you either a day schedule, that's all day long. I mean, it's feeding chicken time, hog time, feeding whatever stock was out there. You had to feed them at their time. Don't they'll be coming out of the fence or something. And you kind of keep up with your schedule. With the chicken schedule, it wasn't hard to keep up because when it kind of gets dark, chickens gonna go to roost. They're gonna go anywhere.
So you've been keeping, you've had a consistent schedule growing up, and you just celebrated 100 years of living. What's your schedule look like these days?
It look easy.
Mm.
If I was born in a time couldn't do nothing about, I would have acted in this age because I knew the schedule was there. The timing of doing things was better. And if everything was better, that's where you want to be, if you got good sense. So that's where I want to be.
So you feel like you've seen a lot of positive changes in the world from then to now?
I saw a lot of hard work because my parents, they didn't put work on you according to, your ability to do. If they said do this all day long and feed this, they didn't care if you was 9 years old. That's what you do. And you try to remember what you do if you have to write it down on the ground because you didn't want to forget what you had to do.
Oh, y'all did like the Indians writing in the dirt?
Beg your pardon?
Y'all did like the Indians wrote messages in the dirt?
I don't know whether we did like the Indian, but I can tell you one thing, we did like Betsy Ray said. Because you didn't want to him to use that strap he had.
Oh.
You know, the shaving strap had holes in it.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't know why they had the holes in them. I don't know what it is. But he had leather straps. He didn't have no little tiny switch that would break every now and then.
The girls what to do?
We had what?
Did the girls get with that strap to the girls?
It didn't matter if you was a girl or boy. If it was time for you to get a whipping, you was gonna get it.
Wow.
He said he loved his kids evenly.
My dad didn't. He didn't pick about the races. He wasn't racist at all. He was just. It was time to have your punishment. He was gonna give it to you.
You tell the time when you were supposed to be, you all were supposed to be babysitting Eva.
Oh,
She was a toddler.
You think of everything. Why don't you tell the story?
I
You know,
don't know any
yeah.
details, but these are stories you've told your kids, and I didn't want you to forget some of it. You remember when Eva was born,
Yeah.
and then you all were supposed to be babysitting Eva one day in the yard. What happened?
Oh, let me think.
Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
The Vaseline.
Oh,
Yeah, with the Vaseline.
Oh, he got favorites.
Mama had just washed her hair and braided it, and she always had a thick head of hair. And Mom would put it in a little small braid to dry out. She said it would dry out quicker if she didn't dry her hair. So she washed Eva's hair, braided it, cleaned her up and put her on clean clothes, told her to go sit out in the swing on the porch. 4 or 5 could sit in the swing. It was a long swing. It hung up on the roof. So she came out and sat on the swing like she was told. But she finally got tired of the swing. She got off of the swing, went in the house. Mama had a big jar about like this size, and it was full of Vaseline.
Uh-oh.
She took the top off, and she braided herself pretty good. But it was all right for her to oil herself. Mama done washed her hair and braided it. It was okay. But she got out of the swing, went under the house where it didn't have no concrete. So it wasn't no dirt.
Uh-oh.
And she played around under that house till she got dirty. And with that Vaseline on her. And I don't know whether she took the jar and put some more on her, but she was really nice and dirty. Come out from under the house. We were supposed to be watching her in the swing. We don't know when she got out the swing because we wasn't watching her. But we were sorry we didn't watch her.
She was having fun.
Huh?
Eva was having fun.
Yeah, she did have fun. She had oiled herself with this Vaseline all over again, now clean, washed and braided. and went under that dirty roofed house, wasn't no concrete under your house,
Mm.
and got herself nice and dirty again.
Y'all got in trouble then.
And when she come out from under the house looking like a little dirty pig, you know, we was ready to run, but we didn't have nowhere to go.
You had to just take it. Mm.
So Mama came out. You thought that was enough when she got to beating us. She didn't whoop us, she beat us. And then she's gonna tell Dad when he comes.
That's another one.
So we know we was gonna get beat with the strip. We was gonna get beat with the strap.
Mm.
So he lined us up. He wanted to know who did it 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was saying it was her, it was him, it was him.
Right.
He said, I know somebody's lying, but somebody's telling the truth, so I'll just start.
Mm.
He lined us up and beat us again.
Mm-hmm. So what was it like going from, you know, having your little sister, in this case Eva, you know, you're supposed to be watching her, to all of a sudden y'all have kids, and now you got, you know.
I had kids.
Yeah, you had kids, she had kids.
I had kids. I thought it was heavenly because I wasn't going to be under my father anymore. I was out from under him. He wasn't going to use no belt anymore. Not on me. He had to use on them breasts that he had there. After my dad would punish you, and he only punished you after he done used the strap, he would put you to work to doing whatever chores he had for you to do. And you had to do that. Sometimes I had to go and maybe mama had asked for 4 or 5 chickens, you know. Well, I have to wring the necks on those chickens and then put them in that pot of hot water and pick all the feathers off of them to satisfy her. When we pick all the feathers off of them, we would take them in the house. Then Mama gonna have us on this chopping block, like cutting them up and put them in the water. You had to do that. So I learned how to just cut up any way you could.
Yeah.
You know, cut them up as long as you could get through.
Would you say that, would you describe childhood as difficult?
What? Childhood?
Yeah, difficult between cutting the chickens and
I
running around?
I didn't consider childhood difficult because that's the way I had to grow up. So to me, if I got out of something, I thought it was freedom, you know, to me. If I lied or whatever and got out of something, it was hard really to lie to my father. I don't know how he thought he knew everything, but he could guess it. He said, you're lying. Well, now you gonna tell the truth because you know what's coming. If he catch you in the lie, he may whip you twice. But if you just tell the truth the first time, if it is a lie, turn around and tell the truth, you may not get but the one whip.
Did you value the truth? Were you somebody that told the truth a lot as a kid?
Yeah, I learned how to go and tell the truth and get it over with.
That's good.
If you didn't learn, he would teach you.
Mm.
Because he was a school teacher and I thought he didn't have. I thought my father knew everything he said he knew, but he didn't. He guessed some of it. The way I was acting, the way you act, that's the way he guessed whether you were telling him the truth or not. He really didn't know it, but I thought he knew it. So I just go on telling the truth. And I thought I was getting over, which if I tell him the truth, I wouldn't be punished, but I would be punished if I told him the truth. Because maybe he didn't like the truth. He didn't like what I was telling him anyway.
So what were those first few? You said you mentioned being, you know, freedom for you, getting out of your father's belt. What were those first few years of freedom like for you?
it was like freedom. It was just like freedom.
Mm.
I was a teenager when I left home and out of my father's punishment. So I felt that I had freedom because I had married young when I was in my teens. So I was already married. So my father didn't have no more possession.
How was marriage for you those first few years?
Marriage to me was fine because my husband was like a yo-yo. You could slap him, he'll bounce. He was pretty manageable.
So that's a good thing to have in a husband. Okay, gotcha.
He was he was not a mean person. He was very kind hearted. And I may not have been kind, but he thought I was an excellent housekeeper because I was trained that way. So I had to do it right. He thought I kept the house clean and everything, made up right. But that's the way I was trained.
Did you enjoy that kind of life?
Pardon?
Did you enjoy that lifestyle?
It was easy for me. That was really easy because I knew how to do that. I knew how to keep the house. That was something I always had to do. And you had to do it right. I knew how to make the beds up and do things because that's the way I had to do it. If I didn't do it right, I had to take it all apart and do it all over. So I learned how to do it right the first time. And with him, it was easy because I don't know what kind of really surrounding he came out of, but he was pleased with what I did. And it made it easier for me. I thought he was like a yo-yo, pop him and he would bounce. Uh-huh. But he was kind-hearted.
You said something to me yesterday, and I thought it'd be interesting to talk about. You mentioned God is pulling you through time. What do you mean by
I
that?
I felt that this was my thoughts. These are my thoughts. These are not something I read about. I just thought about it, and I would think on it very serious. And when I was quite young, I didn't dream it, but it was in my mind. I woke up one night and I thought, I'm going to live a long time. I'm not going to die soon. I was always afraid when I went to a funeral, if somebody died. It always bothered me as a child. But my parents would take you to anybody's funeral. They didn't have to know. They just heard about somebody, you're going to have a funeral over here, so here they go. Then they take all the kids. So I learned how to adjust with death and dying. And it bothered me because I figured if somebody died, if they died in one part of the town, my parents were going to take you over there because that's what they did. They took you to all funerals. I don't know whether that bothered me by taking me to, people that I didn't know and they didn't know, but they knew it was a funeral.
That's interesting. And why do you think they
They might have known something about the neighbors. You know how neighbors get to know each other. They don't have to live right close together, but they'll know each other from maybe meeting up somewhere. So that could have been the way my parents did. But they would take you to funerals. You didn't have to know the person. And I got so it didn't bother me to go to funerals because I always went. And so you take me to funeral. I didn't have to know the person, but you had to go around. You had to march. they had that long line of marching around to see everybody. So,
They have people that they paid to cry too.
huh?
They didn't have to know they would stop by and do the weeping and crying. They had people to do that.
They had people to do that, but people that knew you in the neighborhood would go to the funeral if they didn't even know you.
But you told me once that if Papa, and you were in the wagon with Papa, that if he saw way over there the funeral going on, he would stop.
Yeah, he would stop and go to the funeral. I told you he was a fume barrier. I think my dad was allergic to fume. He would he would see a crowd of people, like you see them, they gathered at a funeral, and they could be across the woods over there, and here he go. We would be on our way to town to do something. Here he's stopping for a funeral.
So he was attracted to funerals, you saying?
Yeah.
He was drawn to funerals. But you mentioned something earlier. You said you had a dream in which you realized that you was gonna. Yeah.
When I was a little kid, I always did have dreams, and I would, even if I didn't wake up and tell you about the dream, I remember the dream. So I remember one I was dreaming one that I wasn't going to die for a long time, and it kind of satisfied me because we always went to funerals, and I figured, well, if I'm gonna live a long time, I won't be going to funeral a long time. So I kept on, and I didn't dream a lot. I mean, regular. But when I did dream, it would still be connected, like to this other dream I had. Oh, I dreamed about that one time, and I wouldn't die. So that sort of lifted me up because we went to funerals all the time. And I thought, if I'm not going to never die, I don't have to worry because I get sick of what I do because I'm not going to die. But as I kept dreaming and got older, I realized that wasn't, I didn't think it was so. I didn't think that was true. I thought because I was a dreamer, that was just going to happen because I was a dreamer.
You can interpret dreams sometimes.
Yeah, and that's what I was started doing because when I dream or somebody tell me about a dream, I said, "Oh, I know the answer to that," and it would come to me about the answer they dreamed about, and I would tell them about it, whether they believed it or not. That's what I saw.
It was told in the family that my dear could interpret dreams in the family. It was told that Amanda was born with a veil over her face. I never understood what that meant. I tried looking it up and stuff like that.
I do.
She was a dreamer also.
I know what a veil being on your face. I was born with a veil on my face. It's the placenta, and it just plops down on your face, and it looks like a veil. The placenta just adheres to your skin and your face, and supposedly my mama said you have a gift of sight. You can see things before they happen, or you could commune with your past ancestors and stuff like that. But if you played with it, you let the baby play with it, they wouldn't be plagued with these dreams and visions and stuff. And she didn't believe in it when my grandmama was telling her all this stuff about the veil. She didn't believe in it, so she didn't let me play with it. And all of my life, I've had dreams. I've had dreams to come true. I would dream and then tell my sister and them what's going to happen, and it would happen.
Wow.
It's quite unique, and I was scared as a child. It scared me to have that gift, so I shunned it. I kind of actually Jim beat it out of me because I would be afraid when I dreamed something and whatever, and I'd wake the whole house up screaming and crying, and I'd get my butt whipped you know, so eventually even if I saw something, I wouldn't say anything, or I wouldn't acknowledge it out of fear of getting, you know, reprimanded.
Wow.
I have it. It runs in our family. I can have the dreams, and I can interpret them, and I can see things before they happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got quite a few in the
Does it
family.
bother you?
It must be a gift in our
It
family.
does. When something bad happens, it bothers me. And sometimes I can wake up screaming if it's really bad. And I have to get myself awake. Yeah. I don't like it. Especially when something bad. Yeah, and when we had those 3 deaths at one time, I told Sammy, when Vaughn and Vanessa came to that funeral, and I told my husband, I said, we're getting ready to go. 3 people are dying at one time. And I said, are you getting ready to go? And he said, were we at the funeral? I said, no. And 1 week later, we buried Vaughn, Beverly, her husband, and that lady that she was keeping. I saw the colors and everything. Yeah. It's not a good thing.
Do you still have dreams now?
But it's not something that you want.
It isn't pleasant all the time.
I saw the caskets, the colors, one was in red, one was in black, and one was in white.
The kind of dreams I have are not dreams that foretell the future, but the dreams, I've had this more than once. It's a dream of a person who's died, who comes back to tell me something.
Oh, wow.
And the two times that are most vivid, there were former relationships, and they came to tell me goodbye.
Wow.
And I hadn't seen these people in years, and so when I woke up, I went to Dr. Google, and I Googled them, and they had just died. So the person, I couldn't ever get to him, but I recognized him, and he said, I just came to tell you goodbye. And in the dream, I kept trying to get closer and closer, and I never could. When I woke up, put his name in the search engine, and he had died, and it happened to me twice.
Speaking on that note, I remember my brother telling me one day, he was talking to my mother, and she was telling about her dream. Jimmy said, let me tell you one thing. When you dream, if it said come back to me, don't do it. He said, because I don't want to know nothing, and don't come to me. He said, because I believe if you're gone, you're gone. And he said he'll never want anybody to tell him about dreams. And I said, why do you feel that way? She said, because if you already gone, don't come back to me. And so he has that storm, you know.
I remember when my dad died in another state, I was visiting, and I was sleeping in his bed because he was in the hospital, and then he died. So then I'm coming back home to his house, and I said, Dad, you need to tell me nothing. Everything I need to know, you've already told me. Now I'm gonna go back in your room, I'm gonna get into bed, but don't come and tell me nothing. Don't get anything out of the room. It's a true story. It's a true story. And I got into bed, went to sleep, woke up the next morning.
And you were okay?
Yeah, I was fine. But I thought I had communicated with him in a way that I knew to communicate, and it felt like it was not so much a conversation, but it was me telling him something that he received. And I did it twice. I did it with both of my uncle, and my uncle died, slept in his bed too. And my cousin, I said, are you gonna be okay? I said, I'm gonna be okay, well, you don't come back, you know? And I told him, don't come back.
Yeah. Wow.
So, my dear, is it true, or have you ever heard that death comes in threes?
Huh?
Is it true, or have you ever heard about death coming in threes?
No.
No?
I've heard that. I've heard that.
And
Death come in 3.
Like
Yeah.
one person died, then there'll be 2 more. I've heard that saying. Yeah,
Oh, I've never heard that.
I've heard that.
and do any of y'all that can dream, y'all need to tell any of us something in the room that we may need to know. Just let me know.
Well, like
I
I
had a
said,
dream when I first met Janelle. I had a dream that her and I got old together.
oh, that's you.
You had what?
I had a dream that Janelle and I were gonna get old together.
How many years have you been together now?
But he
since
said grow old
1979.
together.
So how many years
He
now?
had a dream.
79? Oh, that's about
No, it's 40.
40. Oh.
From 79 from
Yeah, for 79, this is 225. 225. Well, 51, I've been 51 years, 50 years.
You know, I'm afraid of snakes.
Mhm.
And if a snake is in my dream, it's gonna happen right away.
Oh, wow.
If a snake is in your
In
dream.
my
Yeah.
dream, it's gonna happen within that week.
That dream is gonna come true.
It's gonna come within that week.
Wow. I
heard
don't know
about
if fear
something like that.
snakes too.
Yeah.
Wow.
If
I
I
can't talk
see
when
a
I see
snake
it.
in that dream, it's gonna happen within that week.
Mother, I was gonna ask you. So you clearly a lot of people have dreams in our family, and you dreamed that you were gonna live a long time. How does it feel to have? You also talked about being at a lot of funerals. How does it feel to see this dream have come to fruition? Here we are celebrating 100 years. You've been to, you said you've been to funerals growing up, and you've inevitably been to a lot of funerals for people you've known in your life. You've outlived so many people. How does it feel to have been a little girl and have remembered that dream that God showed you, and to see that promise have come true? How does that feel?
I don't recall how it feels. All I know, I don't remember a lot of things that happened to me down through the years at a certain age. When I began to get old, I call old, when I could remember, I was in my 80s. And I consider that old because I was beginning to forget things that I thought I had really put in my mind and I could remember. But,
I'll be 80 next year.
pardon?
You know how you had those dreams about that you would be living a long time?
No,
Well, no, you had those dreams about that you would live a long time, right?
yeah.
How does it feel now that you have done that you have lived a long time?
I don't recall how a feeling is. Because you forget sometimes what day it is.
Right.
Yeah, so how you gonna remember how a feeling is? When you had a feeling like that. I don't remember many feelings at a certain age as I got a certain age, how I felt. Because I never really had a lot of pains in life. I've had a lot of sickness and I still hadn't had a lot of pain.
I've had a lot of sickness, but I still haven't had a lot of pain.
I have had a lot of, they say, serious sickness, and I haven't had a lot of pain.
I know at dinner you mentioned they said you had a stroke, but you didn't feel any symptoms.
I didn't feel any hurt.
Anything?
Cedar said she saw that I had a stroke.
But what happened when she first got sick? She knew something was wrong. She was coming down the hallway to my bedroom. She said, "My heart is beating real fast." Oh, I knew something was wrong. So she said it was beating. She knew it was beating real fast. Something was going on. So I rushed her to the emergency room because I knew that if I called the ambulance, that they would not let me in the room. I don't like that when they do that. So I got in the car and hit the house, hit the street about 100 miles an hour and got into the emergency room. That way I can go in with her. And I was praying the whole time. And from that, what happened? She didn't have a heart attack. Her heart was beating fast for some reason, and they ended up calling it heart something like that. But I had, like right now, I'm a real nurse. I got trained. I was scared. I had her in the emergency room every other night because I didn't know what the changes were and what was going on. Every week we lived in the emergency room until I learned what the symptoms were and what was going on with her. I had to learn when she was dehydrated or when she wasn't feeling well. And I had to learn these things. When you're taking care of somebody, you learn a lot. And it's not an easy job, but you learn a lot. And so I learned. And they told me that she had, after all that, one night, I heard her making noise in her room. And I had read the paper about heart, is it heart attacks? Yeah, heart attacks. And she was going, knew what it was, okay? So I called 911 for that. And I kept talking to her, and she was going, not making any sounds. But by the time they got there, she was speaking. And they said it was a mini stroke. But if she hadn't been on the blood thinners, they said she would have had a massive stroke. But she takes blood thinners morning and evening to, thin the blood.
Yeah, 'cause
Sure.
keep it from clotting.
Sure. So you, like you said, not a lot of pain. God's been, blessing you throughout. And you've been feeling it. How did it feel? How did it feel for you this weekend to have your relatives coming in from far and wide to celebrate you? How did it feel for you?
To be honest, it was not a matter of feeling because it was only a matter of thoughts. Why are you doing this for me? What's so special about a person being aged? There are a lot of people live well over 100, and that we have heard about them. They were members of our church, and for me to be this close to 100, as I was before I got to be 100, they were talking about celebrating a special birthday. What's the big deal? I was wondering what is so special about it because a person is 100, but to somebody else it may be, but to me it wasn't.
But in our family, we don't have too many people.
Right. Well, then I ask you it a different way. What do you think it meant to these relatives? Some of these relatives that you don't talk to or haven't talked to, what do you think it meant to them to come?
Afterward, I began to feel more about people coming up to me and saying, I'm going to try to get there. And I thought, are you? Well, I hope you have the feeling I have. I have a painless feeling. I haven't had no pain. And I was told I was dehydrated, I was this and I was that, but I had no pain. So that's what I was saying in my mind for them, is that I hope you don't have any pain like I have. Because I was painless.
My dear, how do you feel about all these relatives wanting to come to celebrate your birthday?
Well, that's what he asked me. And I said, I don't know how. I didn't have any feelings about the birthday. I was wondering why people was acting so much about having a birthday
That might
for
go over
me.
some people's head. That was deep. Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering why. What was the big deal?
Yeah. Well, maybe I can say this. I think for a lot of us, maybe seeing somebody in our bloodline get that old,
It could be.
You're seen for some as an inspiration. Maybe, don't matter, it's just every day for you. But for some, they see it as an inspiration. Does that feel weird to be an inspiration to so many people? That they would come so far to see you?
I saw all of this, I think, somewhere in my movement. It could have been on my way out or on my way in. I don't know where I saw it. But I felt like it was something they wanted to do. And why they wanted to do it, I don't know. It didn't make really sense to me.
I dig
I
that.
think a lot of times it can be overwhelming, and I think that's what happened. So many people.
Well, you can think what you want, but you just don't know.
Making a statement.
Well, let me ask you this, my dear. Didn't great grandma Millie live to be over 100?
Yeah.
104, wasn't it?
16.
She was
Yeah.
16, over 16.
And she wasn't seen out or nothing.
She lived
Oh.
100 is.
She
I
lived
thought it
how
was a-
long?
My dear.
Uh-huh.
How long did she live?
Over 116.
She said Millie don't live to be 116.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it sounds like there's no surprise to you because, God promised this to you decades ago.
Right.
So this is nothing new to you, and you have no intention on slowing down.
Oh, you don't think so?
I don't know. I mean, you said 116. You thinking 100 ain't even a big deal. You must be looking at 110. You got bigger sights. He said, don't count me. I should wait for 5 years from now.
It may not be a big deal, but it's big.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought yesterday was too big.
Too big a deal.
Yeah.
So 100. When should we get excited? When are you gonna get excited? 110?
No, I don't think it's excitement for me, period. I think it's just going to be a deep sleep for me. That's what I think. I don't have to know. But I just think since the word didn't say this in so much sense, I haven't read the word from beginning, from Genesis to Revelation. I haven't read it and understood it. I've read a portion of the Bible, and I read some of Revelation. I don't understand the book of Revelation at all, because there's so many changes and miracles in the book of Revelation that I don't understand it. But from Genesis, where I have read the Gospels and all, I don't say I understand it, but I'm clear on what the Lord meant. He meant what he said. You do right, it will come back to you right. Now, if you do wrong, it's gonna come back to you wrong. That's what I think he meant when he said, "You're going to reap whatever you sow." I said, if you sow corn, that's what you're gonna reap. Corn is gonna come back. So don't expect nothing else. So if you reap something good, goodness will come back to you. If you reap something bad, badness will come back to you. I think you'll reap whatever you sow, I said. So it's whatever you do right, righteousness will come back to you. Whatever you do wrong, it's going to come back to you wrong. Uh-huh. So that's the way I understand it. Others may understand it much clearer.
That's beautiful. You shared a lot, so thank you so much for that.
Really?
Yeah.
I just believe that's what God meant when he says that you're going to you honor goodness when it comes. If you sow goodness. If you believe in me, he said, you can have eternal life. And what I understand about eternal life, I understand it to be life, life, life. I don't understand it to be life and death. I think you have to go through death for whatever purpose God has designed. But I think you're going through death. I don't think you're going to be in death. I think you're going through death. And I think on the other side of death, I don't know what's there. But I believe if God gave you life, he's not going to take life. I don't believe he would give you something and he take it. If he give you life, you will have life eternally.
Like, so death is something you said you go through, you don't stay at.
You don't stay there. You go through. You go through death, but you don't stay in death. You just go through there. So you go through for whatever purpose he had for you to go through it, just like God had you going through sickness and bring you out. You on the other side of sickness, he bring you to recovery. Well, you said, some people said they didn't think I was going to make it. That isn't what the Lord said. He will take you through. If he's going to do the taking, I have everything I need. I have him. And he's the one going to take me. He's not going to take me through something he can't get me out, because he's a master if he created everything. He created everything. He didn't just throw something out. He created it. He made it what he wants to make it to be. And when he picks up the dirt to make humankind, he breathed his own breath into them and gave them eternal life. So he didn't breathe into us anything else but his own life. And we could have eternal life. That's why I believe that we are going through death. Death is something we have to go through. Like some sickness we have to go through. I just believe that myself. Why I believe it is because that's what I believe.
It works for me. All right, thank you, Mother dear. That was really good.